What if Blue Lock at the current stage of the manga had a tournament arc? This is a question that I don't see a lot of people asking on social media. And I feel like if Blue Lock did have a current like tournament arc that happens like right now, I feel like that shit would be peak. I'm not gonna lie. With all the crazy characters and crazy new abilities that people have, I feel like that shit will be peak. Now, to describe to you how I'm gonna do this tournament arc is it's gonna be 5-on-5. We're gonna have to generate all the teams. We're gonna generate the opponents they face in each round, and I'm just gonna be telling you guys who I think would win the matchups in each round to eventually the winner of the tournament in general. Anyways, if you guys like this sort of content, please make sure to like, subscribe. My channel's been getting amazing support from all the Blue Lock fans lately. Thank you so fucking much. Anyways, let's get right into this video. For the format of the tournament arc, I chose the World Cups format, but we're going to be starting from the round of 16 with 16 teams going head to head all the way to when there's 2 teams left in the final. Anyways, it's going to be a second selection type of thing too, but you guys probably think, oh yeah, it's going to be 11v11. We don't have 11 players for like, a whole tournament arc yet. But I was like, okay, you know what? Let me just do 2v2 in the beginning. Then when a team wins, they take a player from the losing team and they go on through the tournament, which when they reach the finals, each team will have 5 players on their team. I was like, okay, sure. And the games are also up to 5. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that'll be a good way to settle a tournament arc in Blue Lock. I feel like the second selection is kind of like a tournament arc, but also not really. But yeah, honestly, I feel like that shit looks like a good idea. Now let's get into the teams I generated. These are all the teams that I came up with for the first round, the round of 16, the 2v2s. And I guarantee you these are all spun the wheel and completely generated. I did not handpick any of these. So let's get started. The first teams we have are Ryu and Zantetsu, Nagi and Baro, Naruhaya and Aiku, Hiyori and Agi, Yukimiya and Bachara, Shido and Chigiri, Nico and Ryo, Isagi and Atoya, Nanase and Kuon, Gagamaru and Sei, Karasu and Lorenzo, Sendo and Rin, Charles and Raichi, Kunigami and Kaiser, Igarashi and Ness, and Corona and Tokemitsu to end off the 16 teams that will be participating so far. Now we get into their matchups. As you guys can see in the first round, we have Nagi and Baro versus Hiyori and Agi. I think this is an easy matchup for Nagi and Baro. Like, I actually think that they'll struggle in the beginning to like work as a team, but after that they'll just dominate like this other team because they don't have like the offensive capabilities that I think Nagi and Baro are like potentially capable of. So yeah, I think Nagi and Baro take this, and I feel like when they win, they'll take Hiyori on their team. Now for the next matchup, we have Naruhaya and Aiku versus Corona and Tokemitsu. Listen, Aiku is gonna be able to defend these motherfuckers, but bro, Naruhaya, we already know, is fucking dog shit. So he's gonna get fucking cooked. Like they're just gonna run the ball through him. If Aiku comes to help, 1-2 easy. Like, you know what I'm saying? You just pass it to the other guy. Wherever Naruhaya is, just hunt him because he's not playing any defense against players of this level at this stage of Blue Lock. So yeah, it'll be an easy win for Corona and Tokemitsu, and I think we know that they're taking Aiku. Anyways, the next matchup, Ryu and Zantetsu versus Karasu and Lorenzo. This is an easy W for Karasu and Lorenzo. Like, they're easily going to blitz by this team, and they're going to be taking Zantetsu because I feel like, look, Lorenzo and Karasu are already like defensive type players. Taking Ryu, who's also like a defensive type player, wouldn't really make much sense. So I feel like they would take Zantetsu, like an offensive just speedster. Anyways, next we have Isagi and Atoya versus Igarashi and Ness, and this is going to be a massacre. Isagi's going to destroy this team for all the hatred he has pent up for Ness. And yeah, he's going to actually end up picking Ness on his team, which means the monk is out in the first round like he actually should be in the series. Then we have Gagamaru and Sei versus Sendo and Rin in the first round. Now this is something that I've come here for this tournament, because matchups like these in the first round is very interesting because, listen, I don't think Rin is on Sei's level yet, but I feel like the big matchup here is Gagamaru versus Sendo. And I just think Gagamaru as a striker with Sai passing to him is more like, bro, that's kind of tough. Like, that's kind of OP, I'm not going to lie to you, because This dude Gagamaru can reach anything, so Sai can put the ball specifically in places that only he can get to, and he can score easily. And I already know there's going to be a mismatch somewhere on the field because Sendo's on the fucking field. So whoever Sendo's guarding is cooked. And he's definitely going to be guarding Gagamaru because he's not guarding Sei. Rin's going to want to guard his brother. But yeah, they're going to win, and they're going to take Rin on their team. Then we have Nanase and Kuon versus Charles and Raichi. Bro... This is just mid versus mid, but because one team has Charles, I'm pretty sure Charles will just carry Raichi to the W and take Nanase on his squad. Next, we have Yuki, Mia, and Bachira versus Shido and Chigiri. Now, this will be also tough matchup, but once Shido and Chigiri just figure out they're going to beat this team, and they're going to take Bachira on their squad. Next, we have Kunigami and Kaiser versus Nico and Rio. Listen to me when I say this. Listen to me. I do think that because Kunigami and Kaiser, you know, like, I don't think they'll be able to work together. I'm going to keep it a buck. I do not think they're going to work together. And I thought about it. I was like, yo, what would be better? Playing with Nico, Rio, and Kaiser, or Kunigami, Kaiser, and Rio? And I was like, you know what? The stronger team out of these three is most likely Kaiser, Nico, and Rio. Because that's like a New Gen 11 plus two, like, fucking all-arounders. Both with Metavision. All of them have Metavision, by the way. So this is a very strong and underrated team. Just built for getting Kaiser his goals. So yeah, I do think that fucking Frodagami is going to get eliminated in the round of 16. And this team's going to take Kaiser. Anyways, moving on to the next round. Our second round matchups would be Kaiser, Rio, and Nico versus Corona, Tokimitsu, and Aiku. And this is going to be a pretty easy win for Kaiser, Rio, and Nico because honestly, like, this other team kind of just doesn't have that level of offense. And this other team that Kaiser's on is just completely balanced. Like, they have Nico for defense, Rio for midfield, and Kaiser for attack. And then adding Aiku to that defense. Now, this team is something crazy. I'm not gonna lie. This is 4 Metavision users on the same fucking team. That's kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you. But yeah, next matchup we have Charles, Raichi, and Nanase versus Nagi, Baro, and Hiyori. Pretty easy W. Putting Nagi and Baro together is one thing, but then adding a Metavision Hiyori whose vision is like fucking amazing, who can pass like crazy. Now that is just like almost unfair because Hiyori already know his remember, Nagi struggles with creativity. Hiyori, I feel like, is a creative player. He'll help Nagi thrive to be more creative, and he'll push ideas into his head, kind of like how Bachira and Rio have been doing for the majority of the series. So, bro, Hiyori Nagi link up would be great, and Baro, we already know, is great, especially with a fucking amazing midfield like Hiyori. So yeah, I think they take this, and they're gonna add Charles to their team, which is fucking insane. Anyways, moving on, we have Karasu, Lorenzo, and Zantetsu versus Gagamaru, Sai, and Rin. This match will be easy to win for Sai and Rin because them just teaming up just seems so OP to me. Like, bro, that's Sai and Rin teaming up, and it's just like almost unstoppable. Like, they're just gonna be able to beat them, and if all else fails, Sai just lobs it up to Gagamaru for the easy alley-oop. And so they pick up the best defender in this tournament, Don Lorenzo. They now have 2 New Gen 11s on their squad going into the semifinals, which is fucking insane. I'm not gonna lie to you. Anyways, for the last matchup, we have Bachira, Shido, and Chigiri versus Isagi, Atoya, and Ness. And I think that Isagi loses this shit. He's paired up with 2 frauds against Bachira, Chigiri, and Shido. Now, listen. I do think Isagi's the best player on this pitch, but I do not think he's carrying 2 frauds like Atoya and Ness to a victory over all 3 of these people. You know what I mean? I just don't think Isagi's doing that. And I feel like it's better if I put Isagi on this team with Bachira, Shido, and Chigiri, because that's just a fucking squad right there, right? It's an amazing squad. Anyways, now we move on to the semifinals. For the first matchup of the semifinals, we have Gagamaru, Sai, Rin, and Lorenzo versus Nagi, Baro, Hiyori, and Charles. Now this is a matchup indeed. Like, it really is a matchup because it's all about the matchups here. I think Lorenzo, we already know, he can lock down almost any player, I think, that he's on. You stick him on a player, and I don't think that player is doing anything. We saw it with Kaiser, one of the best strikers in Blue Lock at this moment, if not the best striker in Blue Lock at this moment. So I don't think that he'd have much trouble stopping someone like Nagi, like, from scoring at all in this game. But also, you have to take into account, Nagi now has Charles and Hiyori passing it to him, who could push ideas into his head to further his level of play. But I just don't think that he's going to be able to have much of an impact on this game, which means it's mostly on Baro, who has to get past Sai and fucking Rin, which is just like, we already know Sai and Rin both play amazing defense. Like, maybe not amazing defense, but in terms of a striker, their defense is actually great. And I just don't see Baro taking both of them on. Baro is an amazing striker, but taking on Sai and Rin at the same time is just like almost unheard of. And I don't know if Hiyori or Charles have attempted a shot for the entirety of Blue Lock. So, like, I can't really say if they're going to be the ones scoring this game. So, yeah, I do think that the Sai, Lorenzo, and Rin team is going to take this game in a 5-3 victory. I do think it'll be a little bit close, but never really a doubt who's going to win this game. And it'll be a 5-3 victory. And who they're going to take is actually Baro, because I feel like Baro is the best player on this team. And I don't think they need a passer like Charles or Hiyori. And Nagi is just like not a better striker than Baro at this current moment in Blue Lock. So yeah, they're going to take Baro going into the final round. For the second match of the semifinals, we have Bachira, Shido, Chigiri, and Isagi versus Charles, Reo, Nico, and Aiku. Now listen, this is a very debatable 4v4. In my opinion, because Aiku, I say he plays great defense against any of these players except for Isagi. I don't think Aiku is guarding Isagi. That's the one guy on this team I don't think he's guarding. We already know Rio is not guarding Isagi. We already know Nico is not guarding Isagi. So most of their team can't guard Isagi. Kaiser is going to be the guy on Isagi, right? I feel like he can slow him down, if not maybe stop him a couple times. But then we have Chigiri, Shido, and Bachira. I feel like IQ can maybe slow down one of them, but then, like, again, this team is just full of scorers. It's just full of people who can score goals, right? So it's like you need people who can actually play defense or like match up on every position almost to stop this team, because this team is just full of scores. Look, you're gonna stop Chigiri? Okay, we have a fucking instant bucket in Shido. We have a fucking dribble through anyone Bachira, like just score. Like, you have to remember, in the second selections, 1v1 scenarios is what counted the most. Like isolation scenarios where you have to just create a bucket for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, so I do think that the Isagi, Shido, Chigiri, and Bachira team will just edge this victory out over the Kaiser team, and they'll win 5-4 with them advancing to the final round and picking up Michael Kaiser. But yeah, let's talk about the finals. Okay, so this final matchup, we have Sai, Rin, Baro, Lorenzo, and Gagamaru versus Bachira, Shido, Chigiri, Isagi, and Kaiser. Now, this is all about matchups, like I said. So I'd say that I'd put the two New Gen 11s matching up with each other. In terms of defense and like vision, I feel like they're around the same wavelength, so that's why I put them like against each other, right? So I'd say Sai and Kaiser match up. Rin and Isagi are definitely matching up in this game. If Isagi's not matching up with Rin, I don't know who else he's gonna match up with. Like, I think he's better than everyone else he matches up with, except for Rin, right? But I just don't think that, like, look, you're gonna put Lorenzo, because that's this whole team. Like, they could low-key put Lorenzo on this team's best player. Like, they could put him on Kaiser, and we saw what Lorenzo did to Kaiser in the Ubers game. He almost shut him down, like basically shut him down. So without Kaiser, one of their best players, right, I just don't know if this team's going to be able to pull it off offensively. Look, because we have, maybe Isagi could stop Rin a couple times. Kaiser might be able to stop Sai. But then Lorenzo, Baro link up as well. Who's stopping that? Because then we have, okay, I guess Chigiri could match up with Baro. And then Gagamaru is left with like fucking Shido and Bachira. So maybe offensively Isagi's team has the edge, but defensively it's like, it's weird. Like, it gets weird, I'm not gonna lie. Defensively, it's hard to tell which team out here would come out on top. Which is why I'd like you guys to leave it down in the comments below who you guys think will actually win this shit. Now, before I pick the actual winner for this shit. But yeah, bro, honestly, I'm going to say right now, I think the Sai, Rin, Baro, Lorenzo, and Gagamaru team wins. I'm going to tell you why. Look, this team has 2 new Gen 11s. 2. You have Sai and you have Lorenzo. So 2 players supposedly on the level or around Michael Kaiser's level. Now we know Michael Kaiser's like on a really high level, but there are players in Blue Lock that are close to him, like Rin, Baro, Isagi. 2 of the players I named just now are also on this team. So that means that we have, this team potentially has 4 new Gen 11 like level players. While Isagi's team has like 2, him and Kaiser probably. You know what I'm saying? I do not think Batro's near new gen level. I do not think Shido's near new gen level, and I don't think Chigiri's near a new gen level. On top of that, listen, Gagamaru is kind of going to be like a non-factor in this game, but like he won't be a mismatch. Like I feel like he can hold his own because his ability is kind of OP. Like he can just stretch and like stop shit. Like him and Sai's link up is going to be underrated. Like I'm not going to lie to you, it's going to be underrated because Sai can literally just put the ball in places where nobody else can reach but Gagamaru, and Gagamaru can just score that shit every time. You know what I mean? I feel like the only person who might be able to stop him there is maybe like Shido with his crazy athleticism, being jumping in the air and grabbing that shit, or Isagi just predicting the play before it happens, or Kaiser. But like, yeah, I do think that the Sai, Rin, Lorenzo, and Baro team is going to win. They're just going to edge it out 5-4. But yeah, yo, you guys let me know in the comments who you guys believe is going to be the winner of this tournament and why. Why do you guys think I made some decisions wrong? If you like this sort of video, please, I cannot stress enough, please make sure to like and subscribe. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. I can't believe I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. I started this year with the goal of 1,000 subscribers, and we are in March, and we're already closing in on 700. Fucking insane. Thank you guys so much for all the support you've been giving me. Anyways, have a great rest of your life. Have a great day. Bye-bye.